Ever wonder what's going on inside an artist's head? What is their process like? How do they get from point A to point B? Let alone, how do they come up with their idea for their art? Well, today we are going to follow up with two artists through the process of coming up with an idea for an installation, making the art, and then getting it up in a gallery. First up, we have Arlie Mornhenwig. He is a senior at Oklahoma State University working towards his BFA in studio art. His finished product was shown in the BFA Capstone exhibit at the Bartley Center on campus. The medium he has been focusing on is photography. His idea from his art came from some objects he recently received after his father passed away. When he was going through what he had been given, he found all these farm tools that had been in his family for generations. Desperately wanting to keep these items, although he had no use for them, he had the idea to photograph them. Mornhenwig had started messing with the processes of cyanotype contact prints, also known as photograms. This is a process in which paper is coated with a chemical that is light sensitive, put objects on top of the paper, and then expose it to light. The paper then burns around the object, allowing them to be, in a sense, photographed. Arlie Mornhenwig shares how he had started with this process.
I started messing around with these little life forms and little bugs and insects that are beautiful in shape and form, but that also kind of made my imaginations run wild when I was a child. I was always very fascinated with insects and wildlife and this and that.
From there, he went on to use this process with the objects he had inherited, surrounding them with things they may have been in contact with over the generations. This came out to the images he used in the gallery. Next up, we have Journey Green. She is also a senior majoring in BFA Studio Art at OSU, and her finished product was also featured in the BFA Capstone exhibit. But instead of photography, her medium is clay. When trying to figure out what to do for her piece, she kept coming back to the feminist and racial theory books she had been so interested in over the past 4 years. She knew she wanted to do something that would allow her to put all this knowledge to use. Journey Green talks about how she started out her process.
So I started with sketches. I had to teach myself how to do lips and noses, and especially ones that are stereotypically Black ones.
After she had mastered these facial features, she had to transfer them onto a clay slab. She would use oils or a blob of clay to shape the slab into her desired shape. Once the shape had been perfected, she would create hundreds of flower petals to go around the piece to really tackle the notion of its beauty. Once that was all said and done, she would add the details and then put them into a kiln to fire the clay. For a finishing touch, she would glaze the pieces to give them the wanted color. After that, she had a finished product. These two art pieces, along with 4 other students' work, were in the exhibit for a total of 3 weeks. During that time, any and all viewers were welcome to stop by and see their work. One such viewer was fellow BFA studio art major Courtney June, and she shares what it was like to work with both artists.
Arlie's just professional, he just wants this so bad, and then Journey's professional in the sense of she gets her ish done.
This has been a little inside scoop about the process of an artist. Now you know what it's like to come up with an artistic idea, what it takes to conceptualize it, and what it is like to work with the artists.